Who considers themselves an athlete in here? Who's an athlete? All right, we got lots. Okay, who is not an athlete? All right, I'm in good company because I am definitely not an athlete at all. When I was in high school and middle school, I was a band kid. I was part of AV club, so I was a huge dork. Laying awake at night on my phone, you know what I would surf the web for? I would read entries on the Star Wars Wikipedia page just because I wanted to learn more Star Wars. You know what they called the Star Wars Wikipedia? Wikipedia. Hey, and I'm not even kidding. You can look it up. I was a huge dork, but I really wanted to be an athlete. Like, I really wanted to be an athletic kid. So much so that freshman year, the cool thing is everyone plays football, even if you're terrible at football. So, you want to wear the jersey around class on game day, you want to impress the girls, all that stuff. But I really wanted to do that. In fact, between 8th and 9th grade, I was really jealous of this one guy who was a football guy, so much so that I was afraid that he was going to take all the girls and there would be none left for me. So I started doing 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups every day just to I could kind of compete with him. He ended up becoming like the biggest dork ever. Like, he's a way bigger nerd than I am, which is hilarious. But freshman year, after I did all my 50 sit-ups and push-ups each day, I went to the football meeting with my mom so I could sign up to play football. And I immediately realized something. One, it was really expensive. Two, I was literally the smallest guy in the room. Like, I was tiny. These dudes were like enormous. I remember one of my football friends, I went to the library and he was there, so I walked up to him and I was talking to him, and my mom came around the corner and she was like, "What is this? Why are you talking to this man?" And it was because I was just so tiny and all these dudes were huge. But about half an hour of that football meeting, they just spent the entire time talking about concussions and brain injuries and all the bad things that can happen to you. And I totally just chickened out. I looked around and I was like, these dudes are huge. If it'll give these dudes brain injuries, imagine what it would do to me. I'm a pipsqueak. I'm tiny. It would literally kill me. So I was terrified. But I was too small to play football, but I did play some sports growing up. Can anyone guess what I played? What do I look like? Golf, tennis? Wow, it's all the daintiest sports. No, I played baseball. I played some baseball when I was a kid. In fact, I can prove it. There's the picture of me when I started playing baseball. So that was me as a kid. And no, it's not just a costume. It's not just a baseball costume. I actually did. Here's the team. There I am. 2004, I was 7 years old. Don't count that up. Don't count that up. I'm already going through a quarter-life crisis. You don't need to. Yeah, but I'll admit, though, I was not very good at baseball. I was not great. My favorite thing to do when I played baseball was hit the ball and run. That's what I like to do. What I hated doing, though, was playing outfield and having to catch the ball. I was terrible at catching the ball. My hand-eye coordination, for some reason, I can, throw it, I can hit it, I can run, but when it comes to, grabbing it out of the air, I just can't do it. I'm not very good at it, and I was awful at it. And, you got the sun in your eye, and our coaches, they would tell us, it was so ridiculous, they would tell us to literally put the mitt right here in front of our face to catch the ball. And it was crazy. And I was and one time while I was batting, I got hit in the shin real hard, and it hurt so stinking bad. I had a huge knot on my shin for the longest time. And after that happened, I was I don't want to catch the ball anymore. I especially don't want to catch the ball like this. What if that thing hits me in the face? So what I ended up hearing a whole lot is, you can probably guess, was, "Keep your eye on the ball, Dos Santos." And I would hear it all the time. He'd actually say, "Keep your eye on the ball, Dos Santos." I don't know why everyone feels the need to Latinize my name and make it more Latin sounding. It's Dos Santos, not Dos Santos, but that's just the thing. But anyways, I heard that a whole ton growing up, was keep your eye on the ball. In any sport, obviously, if you want to win, you got to keep your eye on the ball. You're not going to win if you don't keep your eye on the ball. It's literally the most fundamental thing, is you got to know where the ball is when you're playing the game. Baseball, basketball, volleyball, 9-square, gaga ball, football, fute ball, as us Brazilians would say. But you got to keep your eye on the ball. If you don't know where the ball is, you're going to lose. And let me just cut to the chase, what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that, unfortunately, many Christians do not have their eye on the ball. In fact, a lot of us don't even really seem to know what the ball is. You know, imagine going out to play soccer and the entire time you're standing there waiting for some guy to come out with a basketball bouncing down the field. You're not going to win because it's not going to happen, because that's not the ball for the game. That's not the one you need to be looking out for. Last week, we talked about how a tiny little trouble can seem like way bigger than it is. We get hyper-focused on our troubles and what's going on with us, and we start praying prayers that are very me-centric, and we come to church with the attitude of, how's it fun for me? Or what can I get out of it? And way too often, the ball that we like to focus on is the me ball. Like, I can't tell you how many times the me ball has been the ball, and this is kind of a sad ball, it's just a balloon. But the me ball is usually the ball we tend to focus on the most. I just hit myself in the face with it. I do that a lot with balloons for some reason. Like, we'll blow some up, and I'll be like flailing around. I'll go like this like 10 times, and it's really stupid. I don't know why I do that. But imagine, it's the wrong ball for the game, because the game we are playing on is not one that requires us to be handling the me ball the entire time. Yes, let me just preface this for the entire service, for everything I'm going to say. Yes, you can find healing here. And yes, there is freedom and there's transformation, and you should pursue that. And yes, you can come to youth and have fun with your friends. And yes, it can be an awesome experience for you, and it's important to work on yourself and become more like Christ. So there is an element of us paying attention to ourselves and what we're doing, but this is not the focus of all of what we do. The ball God wants us to keep our eye on is totally different. It is not this one. Now, if you're new around here, or you wouldn't consider yourself a Christian really, this is kind of a weird message for you, I understand, but you are going to get a better understanding of what we're about here at Amplify and just what we focus on, what's important to us. But if you're a Christian, or you've been around here for a while, you're really going to want to pay attention to this one. This one is super duper important. I'm going to tell you what our focus as Christians should be and what the ball for this game is. So, what's the ball that we should keep our eye on? Go ahead. Give it to me. I'm really bad at catching. All right, there we go. So this is what we should keep our eye on. It's people. People is the ball. People are, I don't know what's proper English there. But people is the ball that we are focusing on. This is what we're all about around here. The owner of the team, of this team here, is God. And I know that's super cheesy to say, but I'm going to go with it anyways. The owner of the team is God, and his biggest concern for the team is that we keep our eye on this ball right here, on people. God loves people, and he wants to see them saved. That doesn't just happen when all we do is worry about ourselves and all we do is focus on that me ball. I'm going to get rid of this real quick. Ooh, that sounds kind of weird right there, doesn't it, on the ball? But perfect. But that's not our focus. That is not what we're out there for at all, is that me ball. We are out here for that people ball. That is what's important to us. In fact, we're told to fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Let me break it down a little bit. So we got to fix our eyes on not what's seen. What does that mean? It just means keep your eye on the ball. It's the same idea. We're fixing our eyes. We're keeping our eye on the ball, but not on the stuff that's seen, not on the stuff of this world, the stuff that we kind of deal with day to day in the flesh with just in our world, our issues, but on what is unseen, on the spiritual things. And I'm going to break it down a little bit more, because here's why. The seen is temporary. The things that we deal with right here, all those tiny little troubles we talked about last week, those are temporary things. But what is unseen is eternal. All of these me problems that we kind of tend to have, all of these things when we're focusing to us, these are temporary things. They're not permanent things in our lives. But what is eternal is the unseen. And what's eternal are people. People are eternal. People are always going to be around. That is what's supposed to be our focus. That's how we keep our eye on the ball. Poke your neighbor on the left. All right, okay. Some of you have no sense of direction. Wow, I was even helping you guys by pointing the right way. All right, poke your neighbor on the right. All right. So, eternity, forever, never ending. You both die, you and your neighbor, and they'll still be around. They'll still be around you. And I know that makes some of you guys rethink it, but people are eternal. That's why we need to focus on them. That's why that's our main focus. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to stop for a moment, and I want you to think about your friends who aren't saved and who don't go to church. They're still eternal, just like you and me. But their eternity isn't that they get to be with Jesus like we do. It's with Satan. It's in hell, and it's eternal punishment. Whoa, sorry, that got really heavy. I didn't mean to do that. But I want you to think back to before you were saved, because that was you too. In fact, the word tells us that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We've all sinned. We've all kind of goofed it up, and that's where we're going. That's our default. Hell is our default. That is not like, just because you're a nice person doesn't mean you get to go to heaven. That's where we're headed, because we've fallen short of the glory of God. But as many of us in this room know, that there's good news. In fact, we're told that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So if you're a Christian, that's you. You're saved. You called on the name of the Lord. But there's a but in there. And it's not the peach kind of but. It's a different kind of but. It's a but that's a little bit, you'll see. But how can they call on him to save them unless they believe in him? Well, duh, Matt. Well, obviously, you got to believe in him to call him to save you, right? Well, yeah, obviously. And how can they believe in him if they have never heard about him? Well, clearly you got to hear about Jesus if you want to be able to get saved and all that. That makes sense. And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? So who is it that's going to tell them? It's not just going to happen automatically. We talked about how our default is not heaven. It's you. You're the one who needs to tell them. At some point, you were not in relationship with God. And now you are, and it's great, and it's awesome. Either someone told you about Jesus, they invited you to church, your parents took you to church, whatever, however it happened. But there are billions of people, billions and billions, who have no relationship with God, and it's your job to help change that. Oh, okay, Matt, I get what you're saying, but there's too many people in the world, and I can't really make a dent in that. You said there's billions. Probably not. You probably can't really make a dent in that. That's true. But you can make a huge difference in your corner of the world with the people that you have influence with, and that's where you come in. The Bible even charges us with the mission, and we call it the Great Commission, and I'll just read a little bit of it. It tells us to go and make disciples of all nations. That's our job. If you've been around here at Amplify for a while, you've probably heard it said like this. It's to create a place where... All right, okay, that was kind of weak, but we'll work on it. But it's to create a place where the unconnected get connected. If you're lazy like me, you kind of just shorten it to connect the unconnected. That's what I always say in my head. That's what we're here for. That's what we're all about here. Is there someone who's tall? Who's a really tall guy or girl who can help me in here? Wow, Sally. Wow, okay, not a single tall person. Where are they? Oh, Eric. Eric kind of did one of these. Eric, come here. So So we got to move people from being unconnected to connected. And I want to explain to you that doesn't happen without you. So you guys have seen a barrel of monkeys, right? Right? You've probably played with them before. You know, they're these little guys. They all kind of link up, right? So I need you to hold one and hold it as high as you can. Go ahead. Or not maybe as high as you can. Okay, that's fine. Just do your thing. No, up. I'm not that short. All right. So here's the thing. So we need to get people connected. So here's what happens is there's you. That's you right there. Now you go to school and you invite your friend to church and they come and they get saved. That's someone who's connected, right? Now, maybe they also have some friends. Maybe they've got a boyfriend or girlfriend and they invite them to church too. And they're like, hey, you got to check this out. This is pretty cool. And then they get connected. Now, they break up, but it's fine. They got saved at some point and now they've kind of got a thing going on. And that boyfriend or girlfriend, they got friends too. And they start connecting them. Oh, geez. And they start connecting them and then they connect them. And this game, stop shaking it. Hold still. So, and it just keeps going like that. And eventually maybe this person, they grow up at some point and they have a family and they have kids. So they get married. They have a pretty monkey wife. Stop. Stop giggling. And then they have like one kid and the kid gets connected to church and then they have, I did not think this through. And then they have another kid and they get connected and now they got 3 kids and they're connected. And now all those kids, they're saved and they're living in church. And now all of them can get connected too. And they can get other people connected too. Should I finish them? I got don't make me do it. But you guys, okay, this is my last one. All right, just hang on there. Yeah, you got the muscle for it. All right, so you guys get the idea. All these people are getting connected and here's why. It's all because of little old you. Right up here, because you one time decided to go to your friend and go, hey, let's shoot each other in the face this Sunday. Like, we got Nerf wars going on, man. Like, you should come over. And that's literally how it works. This person connects, this person connects, this person connects. Maybe this person connects 5 people, then this person connects, and this person connects, and it just goes on and on and on. And here's the thing. You need to understand that it's on you. When we don't keep our eye on the ball on people, all right? That sounds about right. That's pretty usual. But if we don't keep our eye on the ball on people, it doesn't just hurt us. This whole change, it hurts all of them. All right, you can go. Thanks, Eric. Give Eric a hand. There you go. All right. So it hurts. It hurts all of those people because when you don't connect people, it breaks that chain and you lose that entire chain reaction of holy passion. We just did the song. Anyways, so how do we get people connected? Because in every ball game, there's a playbook. So what's ours? So I like to call our playbook the 3 whens. So I'm going to walk you through 3 whens and what to do during those times. So the first when is when you invite them. Here's what you need to do when you first invite them. You may be one of the only people in that person's life. Grammar was really bad there. I acknowledge that, but you know what I'm saying. You may be the only person in that person's life who has invited them to church before, who will invite them to church for the next 5 years or however long or ever. You may be the only person in your friend group's sphere of influence who is inviting people to church. And if you don't do that, they're just never going to get invited to church. In fact, most teenagers do not go to church. Most people do not go to church, especially not regularly. If they go maybe for Easter and maybe for Christmas, and that's it, all year. And if they do, and a lot of teenagers, if they do go, it's because their parents drug them there. And it's usually people, and I've talked to some of you before, and you've told me I was going to a church, and it was awful, and I hated it. And I didn't enjoy it. It was boring, and it was just, I didn't like it. I wanted to be anywhere other than that. And then you tell me that you came here, and then it was like awesome. Like you wanted to be here. Like you looked forward to Wednesday night, and you looked forward to Sunday night. That's why it's so important for us to be inviting people to church, because you were once one of those people. Either your parents took you or a friend invited you, and now you're here and you love church and you're enjoying it. I don't know if you guys realize this, but most youth groups are not like ours. We work really, really hard to make it fun, and we work hard to make it engaging, and that's not always an easy thing, but it's because we care about what God cares about. We care about people, and we know that's what it's going to take to get people here. It's why we do stuff like pretzel nights, or why we do the big events, or why we do Nerf Wars this coming Sunday. We don't feed you guys like on pretzel night just because we want to feed you guys. Like, that's not our deal. Like, we do it so you can invite your friends. So it's an easy way to do it. It's an easy way to start a conversation and to invite people. Dude, we're doing this thing at my youth group called Nerf Wars. It's like laser tag, but Nerf, and it's awesome, and you should come. Like, that is such an easy conversation. Like, that's not weird at all. Sometimes we think it's weird to invite people to church, not because it's actually weird, but because we make it weird. Like, we get this weird thing like, oh, I don't want them to come to church, and like them do this weird thing, pray over them, and like tell them about God, and now now they're like turned off by it. Like, that's not how it is. And it's because we make it weird that we don't invite more often. You know, next Wednesday, in fact, all next month, we're going to be doing the relationship series. Like, that's such an easy one to invite to. It's literally, we literally talk about dating and sex and how to get a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and that's literally what we talk about. Like, I remember being in middle school and laying in bed Googling, how do you tell if girl like you? You know, like, you can literally come here and just find out for yourself and invite your friend. And that is such an easy conversation to start. You need to invite them to church. Tell them what, it's so important. And if that's not enough for you, I'm going to give you 3 times where it's the easiest to invite someone to Amplify. And here they are. The first one is not in church. When they are not in church. I've heard, growing up, I heard this conversation so many times. I'd be talking to my friend, and they would go, it has been so long since I've been to church. Like, it's just been a while since I've been to church. That's so easy. In fact, if you've been to Amplify before, you know this line. You know exactly what you need to do next. Valentina's smiling because she knows. I'll just say the first word, and you guys finish it, all right? Really? Right. That's literally all you got to tell them when they say, I haven't been to church in a while. Really? You should come to my church. It's literally as simple as that. That's not even weird. Sorry. I'm getting really excited. But it's as simple as that. All we have to do is put ourselves out there and make the invitation. Another when it's really easy to invite people is it's not going well. They'll tell you, you find out that something happened to them. Maybe they had a breakup. Maybe there was a death in the family. And, maybe don't go, really, when you find out, but do invite them to church. You can literally tell them, hey, I know you're going through a really hard time. Can I pray for you? I know it's a hard time, but I go to this church, I go to this youth group, and whenever I have a struggle and I always leave feeling a lot better. I always leave feeling encouraged. And it's as simple as that. The other not is when things are not normal for people. Now, these are periods of transition in people's lives, like they just moved here to school. They just changed school. That's a not normal time. That's easy to invite people. You go make friends with them, you're their instant best friend, and you have so much pull with them. Another a not normal period is high school freshmen. Seniors, you have so much influence on the people in the grades below you. Freshmen, they were top of the class, now they're bottom of the class, and now it's super confusing and everything's been thrown out of whack. Like you seniors, you can literally bully them to come and they'll come. Don't actually bully them, that's kind of messed up. But you can do it because they look up to you and they're bottom of the class now and they're like, they're looking for someone to look up to, and you have so much pull with them. Those are periods where you got to hit them with the, really, well, you should come to my church. All right, so That's enough of that. One thing though. Don't just tell them, hey, you should come to my church someday, because someday is not a day of the week, and it's never going to happen. That's why you tell them a specific date. Hey, you should come to my church this Sunday. We're having Nerf Wars. And then you text them about it later. And you tell them, hey, are you still coming? Hey, I'm looking forward to the relationship series with you. You tell them a specific date, because someday is not going to happen. So moving on. So the second when is when they're here. We got to talk about what to do when people are here. And this is what you need to do when people are here. As soon as someone new walks in the door, they should never once be alone. All right? The moment they walk in the room to when they walk out the door, there should be someone around them. They should never be alone with them. You need to talk to them during hangout. You need to take them over to go meet your friends and be part of your friend group. On a game night, you become their partner in the game. You ask them to be their partner. You sit next to them on the vehicle. You ask them to sit next to you in the service. And you'll find it's not even that big a deal. Like, it's okay to sacrifice one night for a new person. It's super important because it is so frustrating to me when I see someone alone just sitting there by themselves. That just bugs me to no end. Especially the worst for me is when I'm talking to a new person already or someone I need to talk to, and then I see another new person walk in, and I look around, and I'm like, wow, everyone is literally like in their little clicky click thing talking to their group of friends, and they're and they can't be bothered to be taken away to talk to a new person. They're over here playing fantasy football, they're over here playing on their phone, whatever. And it drives me insane. I have had nights where after the youth service, I literally was like red-faced angry because we totally blew it. New person, and we never see that person again because we couldn't go over, hey, what's your name? What school do you go to? Hey, why don't you come over here and sit next to me in service? And that is the most disappointing thing in the world to me. Last summer, I think it was last summer, we went to Schlitterbahn with the young adults, and we were all tube riding, like in those big tubes on the lazy river, and it's just super chill. It's awesome. I love it. But I decided to be extra polite, and I let a bunch of other people go and get tubes first before me. So I'm just, I'm waiting there. I'm waiting for my tube, and all my friends have gone tubes, and they're all way down the river, and I was like, I'll just catch up. So I finally get my tube, and, I'm trying to catch up, and I'm like doing this whole weird, awkward thing, and I'm not athletic, so it looks really sad. It looks like a duck drowning, which is just really whack. But I'm trying to paddle my way over, but they were way too far ahead. And you know what happened? I gave up. When a new person shows up and they feel like they got to keep up, like they got to paddle over so that they can be involved because no one's giving them the time of day, no one's waiting for them, you know what they do? They give up. They don't want to be here, and I don't blame them, and I'm with them. So we really, really, when they're here, we got to be intentional about reaching out to them and being with them. So the last one, here's number 3, when they're not here. We got to talk about when they're not here, and by not here, I mean service is over, and they've left. They've taken off. And here's what we need to do when they are not here. We need to text them. We got to follow them on social media. This sounds kind of stalkery. I promise it's not. We got to invite them back. And here's why. Because we are making sure that they know that we remember them and that we want them here. Because we do. That's what we're worried about. People. That's what we're about. You text them. Thanks so much for coming. I had fun with you. You text them, let's play some COD, Fortnite, Halo, whatever it is you're playing. What's your gamer tag? Are you coming to church this Sunday night? It's Nerf Wars. The job isn't over just because we're not here. We got to follow up with them. We got to make them feel loved. We got to make them feel like we want them here. Because if you've been around for a while and you're one of our old timers, someone did that for you at one point, and that's how you got connected. And we need to do the same for others. We need to stop playing the me game and start playing the people game. We need to look beyond ourselves because that is just not the point of what we're doing. You saw that monkey chain? All those people depending on you. Some may never even know or meet you, but it can all be traced back to you because you asked them, hey, want to come to Nerf Wars? Want to shoot each other in the face? Imagine if it came down to just something that simple, because most of the time it does. Next Wednesday night, we start the relationship series, and we're going to talk about, like I said, dating and sex and how to get a boyfriend and girlfriend and all that stuff. And everyone wants to, and that's something everyone wants to know about. It's an easy conversation. Someone broke up that you know, one of your gal pals. I don't know what girls call each other and their girlfriends. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. You go, hey, I heard you're going through a hard time. You should come to my church. We're going to talk about all that stuff. It's not weird. We make it weird, and we got to stop doing that. Imagine if your friend came and they gave their life to Jesus. Their life got transformed, and it's because you invited them to something like Nerf Wars. How awesome would that be? It's literally Nerf or nothing. It's Jesus or nothing. That's awful. Stop me. That was really lame. I'm so sorry for that. But now, imagine your friend goes their entire life not knowing Jesus when they had access to an awesome youth group through you. And when they have a struggle, they won't know a God who's there for them. And it's sad to think that they'll grow up and they'll have a family that doesn't know God. And someday, they're not going to get to experience heaven. Now, imagine if their whole life was transformed because you said, really, you should come to my church. And they live their whole life knowing God and in a relationship with him. Let's invite. Let's not let anything get in the way of that. Let's not feel too embarrassed to do it. Let's just do it because this is eternal. All that other junk that we're scared of, that's temporary. It's like the balloon that'll pop. So we're still going to have a short time of prayer at the end, just so you guys can get prayer for anything that you need. If you came with a need, there will be some people on the sides who are here to pray with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray real quick, and then we're all going to stand, and we're going to worship together and have a time of prayer, and then we'll be dismissed, all right? Father, I just thank you for this time we get to be here together. I pray that you would just help us to invite people, Lord, that you would help us be connectors and to create new connectors, that you would just give us a boldness and a confidence to do so, Lord. I just pray that hearts would be softened so that when we do invite, that they're just like, yeah, let's do it. I pray that your Holy Spirit would just be on all of us, that your Holy Spirit would just guide us and give us wisdom on how to do it, how to approach it, Father. I pray these things in your name. Amen.